gentlemen, welcome to What You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter. We are 25% of the way through 2025, and you know what that means? It's time for a review, a seasonal review. Joining me today, as always, is my reviewer in crime, the lovely and talented Cozette. Cozette, how are we doing this fine evening, and what are your general thoughts on the recently wrapped up fall season?
I'm doing good. This season was okay. There are some standouts. Personally, I think I was a little distracted this season because it's award season. So I was more into movies and Oscars and all that jazz. So I was a little distracted watching a lot of these shows. So, but it's okay because spring is has a lot of shows. So I'm ready for spring now. But I'm excited to talk about the ones that I actually enjoyed this season. So.
Yeah, you know what? I agree too. I even though I'm going to be talking a lot about how a bunch of shows that I really enjoyed, I thought this season, for the most part, was kind of just whatever. It was probably one of the weaker seasons I've had in recent memories. A lot of shows that I would normally be like okay with and finishing and giving it like, a 6. I just dropped this season. Like I don't know, just like I was just kind of interested in doing other things and not really in the mood for like mediocrity. Now that I'm done with like all my con stuff, like I had to create like 2 panels, and well, that's on me. I had like 8 months to do it. And of course, just like what I did in college, I did it the last week. Now all that's done and like the cons are done for the foreseeable future. I kind of have a little bit more free time to just like sit back and relax and chill and not dedicate my time elsewhere. But I did think I have to look, but I feel like I dropped like 6 or 7 shows, which is normally way more than I normally drop. I feel like I normally drop like 2 or 3 a season. So just a season that I really didn't like connect with some of the mid shows, but man, we had some heavy hitters. And I think that's what matters, is the ones that stuck out. Some of these are going to be remembered for a while, and I can't wait to talk about them. So let's talk about them. Talk about the first one. We have Orb on the Movements of the Earth. We finally finished up our 2 core series that was, and for a show that I was pretty high on throughout the entire season, hoping that it would continue riding its coattails of being like one of the best shows currently airing. I feel like it did that the entire way through. I was just flabbergasted by its storytelling. There was people like online saying and comparing this to Vinland Saga season 2, and I am one of those people, but for a different reason. It's not because of the storytelling, or it is a lot about the storytelling, but it's not about like the redemption or somebody like Thorfinn. This is just like character storytelling at its finest. Just lines and lines and lines, countless lines of dialogue, and me just being glued to my TV and just entranced by what these people were talking about, what they're discussing, the consequences of their action. And just having a story where we had 4 main characters was awesome. Like I fell in love with the story from the beginning, and by the end of it, it's going to make my top 100. It's currently my front runner for anime of the year. Obviously, we have a ton of time, but right now, if anything's going to take its place, it has to get through Orb. Cozette, what are your thoughts on Orb?
I thought it was fantastic. I do feel bad because I feel like I didn't give it its justice to pay attention, because it's a very dialogue heavy show, and because I was so distracted this season, I didn't give it the attention that it really deserved. I would love if this was dubbed. I think it would have helped me a little bit because there was a lot of reading, but I really enjoyed it. I respected it a lot, and shout out to Jay for hyping it up before the season started. I think the one thing that I did love about the show, sorry, Marnie's drinking water, it might be loud. The one thing I loved about the show is just the basic nature of humanity, where like we as humans are curious beings. If we find something that we're curious about or passionate about, we'll continue to strive to like push for it, seek the knowledge. And we're definitely going to like, while we're doing that, we're going to find people who like don't agree with you. You're going to find people who want to take advantage of you. And so I really like that part of the story. And the fact that it was like multi-generational, we got to see like 4 different perspectives and like 4 different people who had different objectives of like figuring out this one truth was really cool. So I really like the baseline of the show. In terms of like the details, it really went over my head, but I really, really enjoyed it. The finale kind of confused me.
I think it confused a lot of people. So I don't think you're the only, because there's like the theory that it's either Rathal never died or it's like a parallel timeline. It's one of the two. I don't know. I'm assuming there's concrete evidence to say which one it is. I don't know, but I just thought it was cool with how everything wrapped up at the end.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was like an MCU Marvel situation.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Another alternate universe. I still think it was interesting, and I want to give a shout out to Noak because he was probably the most terrifying villain in anime that I've seen in a hot minute. I would say like his earlier days, he was a lot more terrifying. I think at the end when he's older, he still was a badass till the end, but definitely his early days, he was definitely so like cunning and devious and absolutely terrified me. I compared him to the villain in Glorious Bastards, the same kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
He was awesome, and obviously, like shout out to Kenjiro Suda, who voiced him. Apparently, like a couple years ago, he gave a shout out to this manga before, and he said he wanted to voice Noak. So I thought that was really cool. So,
perfect casting.
Yeah, perfect voice. Perfect voice. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I do want to revisit it again at some point. If there's a dub, I would definitely jump on it. I hope Netflix does a dub because I think it's a great show to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah. The couple things that like really stood out to me, I love the idea of like exploring something like heliocentrism where it's a foreign, like I know what it is, but like I've never studied it. Like I don't know jack shit about it. All I know is like the basics. And then sort of having like this whole philosophy of discovering it and hiding it from the church was such like a cool way of adding a new level of drama in anime where we don't really have stories about just like historical events. Or if they are about historical events, we have to like anime it or something like that. We have to, when we have Yasuke, we have to have giant robots for some reason. It just can't be a show about Yasuke. So something like this, well, obviously it's a little over dramatized with the anime, but it's still cool to explore that topic. But like the big thing that carried me throughout the show, why I love it so much, and we did it in our Discord the other day where we had a poll of like, who's your favorite character? We had like 8 options. That says something about the show. When you have like 8 legit options of who the best character is, it's Oxy by the way, or Ozzy or whatever you pronounce his name. I just thought like how he was the glue for the entire story that we didn't even realize it. Like it's set up where it seems like it's Raffle, but it's not. Like I don't think it is. Like everything revolved around this like little awkward genius that he was, and like him, Yolenta and her father's dynamic was so cool. Like Noak sort of, you know, at the end, sort of realizing everything that he's been doing his entire life was a lie was like, I don't even know how you deal with that as a person, and how it was portrayed in the story was incredible. The animation was great. Madhouse killed it. The OP is iconic. What a wonderful OP. I think there's a lot. This is the type of show that like if we ever did like our 2 core, I would love if somebody nominated Orb. I would love to sit and talk with the guys for an hour and a half about the different intricacies that Orb did. And it's just all so much in one story where normally you need something to cut the tension with comedy or action. And we got a little bit of that, but it was mostly just like straightforward historical drama. And I was fully entranced the entire time. I love this story. I gotta think a little bit. It's not as good as Vinland Saga season 2, but I think it's going to be up there in like my top, like, I don't know, 30-ish shows, 40-ish shows. Like, I thought it was, there's not really like the only negative thing I would say about the show is that the ending was confusing, but I don't think it's bad. I just think it's confusing. And if I got a little bit more context to it, I think it could help round out like my final score. That's why I'm not rating it yet, but I give the show a 10. Like I loved it. I thought it was incredible. I don't really have anything negative to say. It was an incredible weekly watch every Saturday at the gym. I would do leg day and I would watch Orb. And it was like one of those two is fantastic. So it's just like I by Saturdays for 6 months were Orb and leg day. So I'm gonna miss it. Cozette, how about your final thoughts?
Well, you're not gonna miss leg day. That's continuing. So
sadly, yes, my legs are still intact, so I have to do leg day.
I think you said it perfectly about everyone. Like I loved when Yolanta came back. Like I was hoping that it was going to be the case, and it did. And then obviously Draco was really, really cool. I loved that conversation that her and Yolanta had at the end. I think that was so well done. And then shout out to Schmidt and his crew because they were the swaggiest. So cool. They were the swaggiest crew. I think if this is like if we had best crew. Best swaggiest crew at the end of the year, it would be them. And when they popped up with like their crew, like their cool like hairstyles, I was like, oh, this is different. This is not like the Denny's like cut monk hair. Like, it was pretty sweet. So yeah, shout out to Schmidt and the team. But yeah, even though like I was distracted, I still objectively was like, this is actually a really good show. So I definitely give it a 10 out of 10 as well. And it reminds me a lot of Pluto, where like it's under the radar and like people just need to like just give it a chance. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and I recommend it to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's getting. I feel like it's gotten a lot more popularity late. You know, like when you see like the big I know like Giguk did a video on it and stuff like that, and like that got a little bit more popular, and it's insanely high rating. Is like getting it people. It has like an 8.7 on Mal right now. It's like, yeah, this show is legit. It's one of the best of the year. You can't miss out. So hopefully it creates some FOMO and people can go out and check it, because man, what an incredible show. And we're not even done with incredible shows from this season. We got another one coming up right now. That's what we call the business a transition. We got Medalist. We hyped it up during our first impressions. I read some of the manga. You read some of the manga as well?
Like a volume.
Okay. So biggest concern coming into this was Studio Engi at the helm of doing Medalist, where they have done nothing but whatever shows this entire season, and the PV looked nice, and like, okay, how's it going to transition into the actual performances? And they were spectacular. I know like the Hikaru one in the middle of the season, a lot of people praise. The last one that Inori did blew me away. What just like the performances were just so good. It felt like I was watching a Disney movie. And it also felt like for the first time since Haikyuu, a character in a sports show that I am actively cheering for, actively wanting them to succeed, actively wanting to see other people around them lose, because that's my daughter and she deserves nothing but the world. And haven't gotten that in a hot minute. And I loved what I got. Cozette, what were your initial thoughts on Medalist?
It was like the perfect thing to watch this season, just because of everything that's happening in the world right now. It was just a positive, heartwarming, drama-free for the most part underdog sports story. And I love an underdog sports story, so it was definitely one that I was so excited for this season. And it made me just so happy week to week. And yes, it did remind me a lot of Haikyuu. Haikyuu is still my number one sports anime, though. Medalist doesn't beat it. Medalist doesn't beat it, sorry. But I loved it so much, and I think it's such a nice light on figure skating, because in figure skating is a very tough sport, like any sport, but it's also very toxic. There's a lot of negativity around it. So it's nice to see the positive side. I am curious if the future of the story gets into that nitty-gritty dark side of figure skating. I think that would be really cool to see. I don't know if people who just wants to watch happy stuff would be happy about that, but I wouldn't mind like a bit of a darker tone to the story.
Or even just like, because you know how they did this stuff earlier with like her mom, where like that's like a real life thing, and it was handled in a way where like it had the drama and I was a little anxious and stuff, but like it wasn't over the top, it wasn't overbearing. I think they could definitely do that within this story. I'd like to see it a little bit more, especially with like, I guess, what are they at? What's their age right now? They're like 9 or something like that. I feel like when they get a little bit older, I think they can run into some actual issues, which I would be intrigued to see if that's something that they would handle.
Yeah.
But
even like at their next competition, maybe there's some toxicity with the judges or something. Yes. Like, who knows?
You know what? Because you know how like they're like biased, and like judges can be biased and stuff like that, where like Hikaru is like the golden girl for figure skating, but like Inori does like a better performance and she gets second anyway or something like that. I'd love to see something like that. I'd love to see something like that.
A little spice would be nice.
Not too much, but it could be there. Even stuff like her forgetting her skates. Like I don't know, like I've gone to sporting events where I forgot my basketball shoes or I forgot my baseball cleats. It's just like, oh my God, these are triggering all these emotions from when I was 12 and be like, yo, Dad, we gotta go back home. I know the game starts in 5 minutes, but I forgot all my shit because I'm a dumb kid. It's like, oh, this is so good.
That reminded me of the scene it reminded me of Haikyuu, just that scene, because that happened in Haikyuu as well. So it just kept bringing me back to Haikyuu, but I really, really enjoyed it. And as like you said, like it was animated beautifully. I think it really did the manga justice. I mean, the manga has more beautiful, beautiful art, but I think what they did with the CGI animation was really well done. Probably better than Yuri on Ice. I actually don't remember what the skating looked like on Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice was very good.
Okay, it's been a while since I watched it, so
it's filmed in a different style, but like they're both like great.
Yeah. I think like with Hikaru's, that was like one of the first sequences we watched where it's like a full performance. And like that gave us the impression of like, oh, so Studio Engi is here to like play ball. Like they know what they're doing. So then when Inori's performance came, like I think a lot of us teared up a little bit. It was incredible. And then I did love seeing Tsukasa do a little sequence as well. I love him. Best boy, best man of the season. He was so good. But I think the one thing I loved about the story is that mentor-mentee relationship with Tsukasa and Inori. That's what I love about most sports shows. And I think what makes this story special is that their storylines are very parallel, where like they both started late. I don't feel like Inori didn't start that late, to be quite honest, but
in the figure skating world, it seemed like she did, but like to everybody else who's not in the figure skating world, it's like you started when you were like 6. That seems normal.
Yeah, like Tsukasa started a lot later than she was. So I really enjoyed that kind of parallelism with each other, and that he was like, he had her back, he was rooting for her. And then like that scene where she was like trying to root for Tsukasa, being like, he's actually a great coach. Like, don't underestimate him. Like, I love that scene. It was so good. So yeah, there's just so much positive, like it just made me happy every week.
It was a very happy show.
I look forward to it. Yeah. And the dub was actually really good. The dub was really good.
The sub was great too.
Yeah, the leg day scene, I think that was only in dub. So kudos to that. I loved it. But yeah, I can't wait for season 2. I'm glad it was announced. And yeah, I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, you mentioned one of the favorite things that I had, and I compared this show to a show called Baby Steps, which is a tennis show, and that's more like individual focus, and it kind of has the same pattern of somebody who wasn't started late, but use talent outside of the actual sport to progress. And you saw that with Inori, and something I love. But the addition of Tsukasa and having like not only a coach, but like a mentor was something that I think absolutely elevated. If you ever played sports, you know the difference between having a good coach and a bad coach. Somebody who's there because they needed volunteers, or somebody who's there because they want to be there. And Tsukasa just having that role with Inori was fantastic. I say the ED I've listened to that ED 40 times. It's so cute. The jump, and the step. I love that stuff. That ED was just an absolute blast. It matched the tone of the show perfectly, just being fun, and including the worm in it was just great. I give the show a 9. I think it has the possibility of being a 10 with later seasons, but I mean, it delivered on every front that I was looking for in this show. So 9 out of 10 for Medalist.
I gave it a 10.
Woo!
I just can't see anything wrong. I mean, besides I didn't like the OP, but everyone loved the OP except me, so that's fine.
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
I don't know. It felt too shonen. I don't know.
I think we had 2 like Omega banger OPs, and then when you compare them to like Medalist, it's just like, yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, but yeah, I give it a 10. It was just so perfect. I think the music was really well done. The animation was perfect. The voice acting was great on both fronts, from sub and dub. Yeah, I just see no wrong with it. So,
we love that. Yeah. We love to see that. 9 for me, 10 from Cozette. Moving on to a show that's kind of mixed, I feel like, in terms of reception, and that's Zenshu. I love this show. I thought it was incredible. I thought from the get-go that this was a love letter from animators to animation from animators. Falling in love with a property from your childhood that drives you to a passion that you didn't know unless you have seen that movie, that specific item. And with Natsuko, it was Tale of Perishing and sort of her admiration for Luke and the movie itself to be an animator in life. And it's not something that I can personally connect with myself, but like it's sort of the idea of like when you see something, you know, you want to do it. It's kind of silly, but like it's still like relating it to anime. But like when I fell in love with anime, I knew I wanted to express myself some way in some form. And in my case, it was through just talking to people online and stuff, but doing a podcast. And with Natsuko, it was, you know, legit creating the art that she fell in love with. And it's something that I can sort of relate to that character where you find something you gravitate towards to it and then you do it. And just so many different elements with Zenshu, especially it's such a small detail, but to me it's one of the biggest things that made the show great was Tale of Perishing was a bad movie. And
Yeah.
she loved it because she was a kid, because it was made for kids and it was supposed to have like plot holes and it was supposed to have, you know, the heartthrob character who may seem a little bland up front. He's a very generic blonde hair character, but like when you're 6, none of that matters. And that's what the whole point is about falling in love with that, like as a young person and just loving what you're doing. And that's what I loved about Zenshu. Cozette, what's your thoughts on Zenshu?
I was really surprised by it. Obviously, I thought it was gonna be something different, but then I ended up really enjoying it. But I will say, it's gonna be a little preposterous. I didn't care for the Tales of Perishing storyline at all. I only cared about Natsuko. I only cared about her and like her growth. I think I related to her a lot in the way that she is with her mannerisms and being passionate about something and just working overtime. I totally get it. I just connected with her a lot. I think that's why I connected with the show so much, but I really didn't care about the Tales of Perishing storyline at all. I didn't care about anything that was going on. I just cared about her and her growth. So I just love the fact that like she started out as like this person who she was in a little bubble and she didn't really see outside of that bubble. She didn't see the people around her that were supporting her, that adored her, that loved her. That one episode with her backstory about all these different people that fell in love with her, I thought that was my favorite episode personally because it was only about her and not about Tales of Perishing. So that was my favorite episode, but I think she was the reason why I love the show so much, and like seeing her arc and seeing the fact that like at the end she learned that there's no I in team and that she learned what love is and what squee is. I love her so much and I want a purple hoodie. I still haven't found the perfect one. But I think it was a perfect show as like a tribute from animators and to animation because like all these animators, they're all passionate about the work they do. Like yes, a lot we know they all work overtime. But like some of them just love doing what they're doing. And I don't condone overtime, but I think I can see what they're trying to say about people being passionate about their work and trying to get it done well. And I really liked I think we mentioned this in the mid-season check-in, all the like the references to other anime with like Nausicaa and like Magicals and girls and
Gundam,
stuff. So
Idols.
yeah. The Idols. Yeah, Mamoru Miyano's cameo. That was also one of my favorites. It was so good. That was the part where I was like really paying attention. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I probably sound terrible for the fact that I didn't care about most of the storyline besides her, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favorite childhood stories. So, but yeah, I was really surprised. And I honestly thought I was going to drop it because I didn't care about the Tales of Perishing thing, but Natsuko kept me in it. So shout out to her.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think like with people who like really enjoy this show, and because we had like a poll in our Discord, and there were some people that were like this was their most disappointing show, but then we also had a lot of people that this was their most surprising show. So it's interesting to see like the contrast between what people found about it. Like I love just expressing passion, regardless of what that passion is inside of my media that I consume. And Zenshu was that, and they did it in a really fun and creative way where it brought me back to a time where I was watching, you know, Lion King in theaters, where I was watching, I don't know, Big Hero 6. I'm just trying to throw out Disney movies because this reminds me of like a Disney movie or something like that. And, you know, overcoming the obstacles and falling in love with the hero. It was like all of this was just like a Disney movie. But like at the same time, it's like those are the movies that got you into where you were. So I loved it. I did show a 9. I thought like the magical girl sequence with Natsuko was breathtaking. Mappa absolutely killed it. There was some like really fun nods that when they switch it up a little bit, like when she went to the hot spring, like she wasn't wearing pants in her in her transformation. Like that was kind of funny. Like they didn't reuse the same one over and over and over again. And then like the different like creative ways to defeat the monster of the week, whether it was a Gundam or an idol or a big bad samurai guy or something like that. It's like these little things that like you start drawing it when you're a kid and you start drawing it when you're an animator and you use those tools to overcome the obstacle. So stuff like that was great. 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I'm like noodling between an 8.5 and a 9. I'll do it 8.5. Yeah, I'll do 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do 8.5.
Okay, well,
I might change my mind.
We'll allow it. We started using decimals during the New Moon episode, so forget. Look,
I mean, I could. Maybe it'll do 8.5. Who cares?
What's your rating on Mal right now?
I don't even remember what I put on it. It's okay. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Numbers don't matter.
Exactly. All this is irrelevant. So
yeah,
8.5 from Cozette.
What did you? Because in the only thing that like I kind of was a bit upset about in the ending was that we didn't see when she returned to the real world. Like I was thinking like it was going to be an Alice in Wonderland moment where she wakes up in a hospital room and she got her stomach pumped. But we didn't see that.
Where it's sort of just like she beat the final boss and then it's like, and now it's back to life. I get what you mean. I kind of felt like that's how it was going to go anyway. Like I didn't really feel like it was going to be some big scene because I just think that they needed a driver to get to the isekai world to begin with. And I think like what they did in the world was more important than like outside of it. So like, it didn't really matter to me, but I could see why people would be like, oh, I wish she was like given CPR and coughed up the clam food she ate or whatever. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Other than that, like it didn't wreck my score. I was just like, oh well.
For sure.
So yeah.
Okay.
Still enjoyed it.
8.5 from Cozette, 9 from me. I'm gonna let you talk about Honey Lemon Soda because this is your show. So whenever you're ready, unless you want me to start, but I want to give you your shot because I know how much you love Honey Lemon Soda.
I know, because it was a very mixed reception from people. Although I do find it funny that it was mostly men that weren't enjoying it.
I'm in that same boat. I went from whatever to probably reading the manga when it was all said and done.
So, like, I was a day one fan, guys. I was a day one fan. This was my top favorite this season. You already know what score I'm giving it.
Damn right.
I love a story about a shy girl who's like timid and she just wants to learn how to like find her voice and stand up for herself. And she's learning how to love, learning how to make friendships. Like, I love that because I relate to it so much because as a fellow introvert, I understand what that means. So I related to Uko a lot. I connected with her a lot. And the one thing that I love about Honey Lemon Soda is that we actually got to see her progress within 12 episodes. Where like shows like this, sometimes that character makes no progression at all. And it just becomes like a very bland, straight line thing where they make no progression at all. And I think that's the one thing I loved about Uka so much is that like, sure, she's still shy and she's still timid. Like as an introvert, I'm shy no matter what. But at least we got to see some progression with her with like connecting with her classmates, standing up to her bully, talking to Kai, eventually telling Kai how she feels, asking Kai out on a date. Like, oh, she improved so much this season. Most improved this season, honestly. I loved it so much. I really thought that the bullying arc wasn't something that was like constant in the storyline. We got the bullying, and then it was done. It reminded me a lot of Kimi ni Todoke. I don't want to pit them against each other, but I do like this season more than Kimi ni Todoke season 1. And I will say that right now.
Wow. Hot take alert.
I've said it. I do enjoy it more than Kimi ni Todoke season 1. I think it's because of Uka and Kai's dynamic. I do like the combo of like shy person and like person with more confidence, and that's dominant, and then their personalities kind of complement each other. Which is why I don't really care about Saoko and Kazuhaya that much, because they're both literally the same person. So I really liked Uka and Kai's dynamic.
Just keeps taking strays.
I'm sorry.
While you went to like the art exhibit in Japan and stuff, it's like that.
I hope there's one when I go back.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really liked their dynamic. I was worried about Kai because he does come off very strong at the beginning of the season, and I was worried that maybe his dominance was going to be a bit too much, but it was actually nice. He gave her his space when it was needed, and he gave her time to breathe. So overall, I loved the show so much, and I'm reading the manga like immediately. Like out of every show this season, this is the only one where I'm like, I really want to read it immediately. Whereas Apothecary Diaries is currently airing, and I'm not rushing to continue the manga. So that says a lot.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I really love it.
Hell yeah. That's what's up. Okay, so my issue being the man, is that in the beginning I just thought Uka was the damsel in distress, that she needs to be saved character, and that she wasn't going to be anything more than that character, and that's where I was starting to like lose faith in it, because I read volume 1 of the manga before watching this. So I mean it's very baseline to like what I got. And so I was scared that's what the story was going to be, and it was so far away from that. And like that's why I fell in love with the series, because as I got more and more into it, I realized that wasn't it. I think that's just kind of like it was setting up for it to be what it was. So it was just me not consuming enough content to like really grasp the picture of Uka's character. And then by when it was all said and done, it's like, wow, like this is, imagine where we are now from since episode 1. And like her growth was incredible. My favorite line of her was just like where she said like, you never forget the faces or the names of your bullies. I was like, damn, like right to their face. It's like, you know what you did. I know who you are. I'm never going to forget you. I was like, yeah, like say that with your chest, girl. Like that's what's up. I definitely, as much as I like their relationship, I think Kai's like okay. I'm not like a super high on Kai. I'm just like super high on Uka. So like that's where I'm like, I really enjoy this. I don't like love it, but I think it's also one of those things where I think I can like Kai more with more content. And I think that's why I'm really interested in reading the manga, because this is only their first year and the manga goes into their second and third year. And I can't wait to see how that progresses. Shout out to like Best Girl Ayumi. Like I know everyone was talking about how great Serena was. Nah, Ayumi. What an incredible support character. Loved her. I thought she was just super cute and fun like the entire show. Her outfits were so cool. She made rocking suspenders dope. The cast was great. I really enjoyed the show. The OP and EDs were both great. I'm continuing the manga pretty soon here now that I'm done wrapped up with a lot of stuff, and we have a little break in between seasonals when they start. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I gave this an 8. I thought this was a good time.
Obviously I gave it a 10. Yeah. Come on, guys. 10 with a star. Come on, Trent.
Hell yeah.
I haven't done that in a while. I haven't done it in a hot minute. I will say though, Uka and Kai versus Ryu and Chizuru. No obviously contest. The goat still wins. No contest. So there we go. But yeah, I really hope we get a season 2. Like just give it, please. But I will read the manga. I think it's still going. It's not even ended yet. So
still going.
Shout out to episode 11. That was probably the best episode.
Oh my god, that episode was insane.
That's with the baton.
That's one of the best episodes this year. That episode was so good.
It was so good. And it just kept going because I thought the pass was already enough. And then all of a sudden we got the kiss.
Yep.
And I was like, that was just, the kiss was a cherry on top. I think the baton pass was the most beautiful scene. And then the kiss was just a cherry on top. It was beautiful. And then the finale, best finale of the season, I have to say. I was really worried because I thought at the end when they got to that discussion of like, oh, like we said we liked each other, but I don't think we're dating yet. And I was worried the show was going to end right there. And there was going to be confusion of like, are we dating? Are we not dating? And then they pulled the gymnasium scene and I was like, this is cinema.
Absolute cinema.
It was so good. So yeah, 10 out of 10 with a star. Shout out to the OP and ED. They're my favorites this season. I loved the show so much.
That's what's up. 10 from Cozette, 8 from me. Moving on to our next show, my romance of the season, my romance probably for the year. I'm actually maybe not. It's either this or Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. That is I Have a Crush at Work. This is everything I wanted in a romance. Everything. I loved every second of the show. There was no bad point in the show. Adults doing adult things other than hooking up at work. Don't date your coworkers. It's not a good idea. But outside of that, I don't even know where to start. I love the fact that they hooked up in the first episode. I love that like they're not like dancing around the idea of being an adult and I don't know, being scared to hold hands, whatever, or afraid to make out or something like that. Nah, they didn't do that. They're just like, yeah, we're adults and we like each other. I'm gonna take my shirt off now. It's like, all right, cool, fuck it, let's do it. Okay. I like the little drama that they had at work. It wasn't too much, but it was enough to like, I think keep it fun and a little bit of spicy. And then what really set it all together and combined all the things I love with it was the side couple with Kaisuke and the director or whatever her name was. That little addition at the end made the show everything I wanted. It was awesome. I loved like the fact that it's like an adult age gap by like, I don't know what it was, like 8 years, but it's like they're both consenting adults. It's like, yes, finally in anime we get all the things Pete wants in an adult cast show. The only thing that's bad about it is I went to read the manga and like not enough chapters are translated, so patiently waiting. I'm also 1,000,000% reading this one. Cozette, your thoughts on I Have a Crush at Work?
It was so nice to get another adult romance because we had one last season. Mixer was last season, right?
Wait, what?
Was Mixer last season?
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. So we got another adult romance with emotionally mature people, which is rare. So I really like they were not shy to talk about their emotions. Obviously, they were shy about it at work, but I mean that's fair. I realized you called it by its other name and not Can You Keep a Secret, by the way.
Oh, so I'm looking at the Mal, and Mal changed it from Can You Keep a Secret to I Have a Crush at Work. So monkey see, monkey do.
Okay, I'm still Can You Keep
Peanut Brain.
I'm a Can You Keep a Secret.
Can You Keep a Secret is a much better name.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I do like the fact that we got obviously a still new but progressing relationship, and then we got a new one, and we got to see the progression of that new one with Some and Hayakawa. And I do like their confession scene was just so sweet, and I understand why Hayakawa was like hesitant about it because she's already been through some trauma with an office romance before. Yeah. So I really like that because that's very realistic. I think a lot of people have gone through that. So,
for sure.
But their confession scene was so sweet, and he was just like, "Yeah, I like you, like just whatever, you know." And take her out on a date. It was sweet. So I really enjoyed it. It was a very healthy romance story. There was no interpersonal drama. I mean, I wouldn't have minded if there was some drama at the office. Like I still would have enjoyed it. Like, nice and
yeah, I know what you mean for sure. A little bit more wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I totally thought that older guy in the different department was gonna like try to hit on her or something.
Yes.
Which like I still see that happening. And I honestly thought that was gonna happen when at the end when he emailed her about about her promotion. I thought he was gonna slide something in. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was really nice. Is it my favorite romance this season? No, because I just talked about my favorite romance this season. And it's not even my second favorite romance this season either.
What? I wonder what that could be. I can't believe we're about to get into it after this one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was nice. It doesn't need a season 2. I don't think so. I think it's fine the way that it is. I mean, sure, we can get a proposal scene. That'd be nice.
I see the manga spoilers. And it's so Pete coded. It's insane. Like I need the chapters translated because what happens next is like everything I want and more.
Okay, cool. Well, if it does get a second season, obviously I'm going to be there. But I really liked it. It was great, and I wish, hopefully, maybe a streaming service will pick it up now that it's, it's. I mean, it happened to Girls Band Cry, so you never know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I gave the show a 9. I loved it. Can't wait to read it once the chapters gets translated. But this is exactly what I wanted in a romance. It was light drama, like really light drama, pretty funny, great cast. It was nice to cheer for like every couple. And it was just sort of the things that I was looking for in a romance, especially when you're adults. Like after work, getting done, both stressed as shit. Hey, let's crack a beer and chill with each other or whatever. Like, yeah, that's what I want. Like, that's dope. So 9 out of 10 for me.
Because I really enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but I had a great time. So it's a 9.
9. All right. Wow. Okay. Well, you've given a 10 and a 9, and apparently that was your third favorite romance of the season. So
two shows can be rated the same, but one would be higher than the other.
That's true. It's just, I mean, the romance was good this season. We got Blue Boxes next, and we both read Blue Box, and I think we both dropped Blue Box, and I think we both agreed that the anime did a better job than the manga. My issue is it's still Blue Box. I still think it's like fine. I think the biggest issue with my rewatch is that like I don't care about Shinichi at all. Like, I just think Hana, I just like her, or Hina, I like her so much, where I'm just like, yeah, the girl loses, whatever. I think Taiki does like a good job at like portraying his feelings to her, but it's like, I just like the personality of Hina so much more. I just think the dynamic with her, like, obviously that's the whole point of the show. Like, I get that, but like, when you have a character where like when somebody wins in a relationship, I at least want that person somebody that I like, and I just don't like Shinizu. Like, she shoots a basketball like Julius Randle. Like, I'm sorry. Her form is so bad. Like, she shoots with two hands like this. That's not how you shoot a basketball. She's supposed to be like an elite. Like, it's crazy that the lolly basketball show that I watch has better form than Blue Box, and that pisses me off. But like, for like coming of age romance, where something like this, I would compare it to maybe something like Dangers in My Heart, where I think that there is a romance theme to it, but I do think it's more of coming of age of yourself than it is of like building a relationship with somebody else. And I think you see that with Taiki, with his drive and his passion with badminton, and I think he uses that as a factor to try to impress Shinizu. And then Shinizu has just always been that person. She's always been Kobe Bryant at that school. So like, she has the mama mentality where Taiki's lacking. And I like that aspect more than like the actual romance in the show. So I kind of view the show, at least this first season, more as like coming of age than I would of romance. Cozette, you're higher on this. Bring the positivity. Blue Box, go.
Well, first off, I think you like Hina because it was a very Hina-centric arc.
Yes.
So that's kind of unfair for Chinatsu.
It's true, but like you can still see like the personality shining through on somebody. And Hina in the manga, I think it's chapter 75, is, and I think it's episode 24 of the anime is, I think it's incredible how like talking about their feelings and expressing it, but at the same time being respectful when getting rejected and everything like that, and like the heartbreak that comes with it. Like, incredible stuff. I love that aspect of like the romance, but that stems through Hina again, and it's not Shinizu, and it's like her, I don't know, as she's the senpai, and I kind of feel like when you were a little bit older, you lead a little bit more, and I don't like that she doesn't lead as much as I would like it. So, little nitpicky, but that's why I also feel it's more coming of age than it is of romance.
Okay, let me spit.
Yeah, go for it, girl.
First core, this is when I dropped them. I've read a few chapters, but the first core is literally just introducing the characters, giving us the lay of the land. So I was like, okay on it, because we didn't get to talk about it in the last season review because it was continuing. The second core is definitely where it hit for me, because I think we got to see, and this is something that we don't get to see in romance, and I think this is why I liked it so much. We got to see some real yearning. We got to see people actually open up about emotions that actually are not just saying I like you, but they're actually going in depth with it.
Yep.
We see people that are trying to get out of the friend zone, which I guess we see in anime. But the one thing that I really want to see in anime was to get a real heartbreak and a real rejection, and then seeing that pain and seeing it communicated in an anime, and then seeing someone who I assume we'll see her recover from it later. But that's something that I just wanted to see in an anime. It's just a real heartbreak, because a lot of romances, they get together. Who cares? And if there is a rejection, it's quick. But this is like impactful. And with Hina, we got to see a lot of the episodes in her perspective. So we got to learn about her internal monologue. We got to see her internal thoughts about it. It wasn't from Taiki's perspective. It was all from her perspective. And as a woman, I enjoyed that. I really, really liked that, because I related to it so much, where you get into that first crush scenario and you really like this person and you're trying to get out of the friend zone. And you can tell how much she really likes Taiki. Whereas like some romances, the girl's like, oh, I like him, I guess. But there's some real yearning on the screen. And I think that the anime portrayed that really well. Obviously, we don't see that much yearning with Chinatsu, but with Hina, I loved her confidence, just saying how she feels. And like her confession was one of the best confessions I've seen in anime, because she goes in depth with it. She even says that one line, like, don't see me as a friend, see me as a girl that likes you.
Yep.
But I think the rejection scene, which we recently got, was really well done, because Taiki's like, I don't want to string you along. I know you don't want your answer, but I also don't want to string you along. And I think she's going to hopefully respect that and realize that he's not good enough for her. So because he's not good enough for her. I think she is a wonderful person, and I think she deserves better. So I really like the rejection scene. I think it's something that really stuck out to me. I think like I was okay on the show until like the second core, and I saw Hina and everything. I still think I'm team Taiki and Chinatsu, and like with Chinatsu, I understand she's not the most interesting character, but I'm curious if like we see her blossom more now that she knows that she really likes Taiki. Maybe she'll blossom and open up a bit more in the next few seasons. Because the thing with Hina is that she is a rhythmic dancer.
Yep.
She has that confidence already. She has that personality, that bubbly personality. She has that. Whereas Chinatsu, she just plays for the game. She plays ball. She doesn't have to perform for people. So I can see why people don't like her, but I relate to Chinatsu a lot, so I kind of get it.
I mean, I'm a baller, so I relate to her all the time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Her form, though. What is this? Who shoots a basketball?
That's the animator's problem, not her.
It's like doggy paddling when you swim.
Look, okay.
She didn't even bend her knees when she shot.
I blame the animation studio, but she looked cute doing it. So overall, I really like the show. Had a nice balance, like you said, with like coming of age, like slice of life-ness, and then there was sports. There was enough sports, I think, and there was a nice balance of romance. But yeah, I really like the characters. I think all the characters are so fun. I do want to see more of Karen because she is a character I really liked, but we only saw her for like a few episodes. Her younger sister's hilarious. But yeah, I really like the show. Obviously, it's not top like Honey Lemon Soda, but it is my second favorite romance of the season.
That's what's up. Okay, I give it a 7. I liked it. We're getting a second season. I will probably enjoy the second season probably a little bit more once it's more focused on their relationship, and maybe I'll change my mind. But I thought this was on par with what I gave Dangers in My Heart. I'm feeling like a 7.
Give it a 9. Same as Can You Keep a Secret, but I do like it a bit more. So the only thing I wish is that in the second season, Japan doesn't release episodes ahead. Because I feel like I
hate that. That's so dumb.
I couldn't participate in any Blue Box conversations in Discord or Twitter because I was worried about getting spoiled. Because I got spoiled earlier in the season because I didn't realize Japan was ahead. And so I hope that doesn't happen again. Because like, yes, I could sail the seas, but I really didn't want to for this show. So it was hard to like talk to anybody about Blue Box because half the people were ahead and half of the people were like in the same timeline as I was. So I hope for season 2 it doesn't happen again.
Yep. Okay, so 9 from Cozette, 7 from me. Moving on to a show that only I watch. I'm shocked that Cozette didn't watch Solo Leveling. Shocked.
I'm watching it technically as dub when I'm on the treadmill, but like I listen to music on the treadmill, so I'm only on episode 2 or something.
Okay. This is just so not your show. But we wrapped up season 2 of Solo Leveling, aka the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter. And it's crazy that the main villain of this arc is a giant ant on an island, and everyone's like, oh, this is the Chimera Ant arc. And it's like, no, it's not. I'm like, how is it not? How is it not anywhere near the Chimera Ant arc? Not as good as the Chimera Ant arc. However, I thought this season was really fun. I think they stepped it up in terms of soundtrack. I think the music added a lot to the fights this season, where season 1, I think, heavily focused on the animation. I like the story a lot more. We got a little bit more of the S-ranked hunters, especially the dancer hunter, Hai In. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She's the S-ranked dancer fighter. Thought she was great. And the priest dude was, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's some characters that
I'll forget. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. The addition of adding the extra cast was a huge benefit to this season. I thought that was like the biggest standout from season 1 to season 2. Yes, it's called solo leveling, but you can only solo level for so long before you have to start interacting with people. Jinwoo, wow, he's like a paradox of a character, because I think he's super cool and super lame at the same time. Like he has like substantial drip and like he's super overpowered, but sometimes I can't not picture him or people just inserting him or themselves into this character. And I do wish he had a little bit more, I don't know, charisma in the show. Like he's like really cool when it comes to fighting, but like some social interactions, I feel like it was a little awkward, and yeah, maybe that's who he is as a person, but come on, man, you're the most overpowered person in the freaking world. Like, whatever. But like, I'm here for the fights. Like, I'm watching the show to watch people get blown up. It does that great. I give the show an 8. I do not see how people rate this. IMDb has like one of the episodes is one of the highest rated anime episodes ever. No idea why. No idea. I'm like, the fight was really cool. That was it.
Yeah.
The story is very basic. I think the character interactions are very basic, but the fights are insane. The fights are just mind-blowingly good. So 8 out of 10 because it gives me that shonen hit I'm itching for from my local plug. So every now and then I just need it, and I got it from Solo Leveling. Cozette, I'm gonna pass it to you for something very similar to Solo Leveling.
Well, I think the one thing I'll say about Solo Leveling, because I've seen people who don't watch anime regularly have been talking about Solo Leveling, so I think that's why.
You know,
and I think it's because it's basic. What?
Oh, because Crunchyroll has a marketing budget of like whatever $10 million to advertise all their shows. So like, all right, we're gonna give $9.9 million to Solo Leveling, and everything else gets the scraps, because I don't remember the last time a show has been shoved down my throat as much as Solo Leveling. Like, they Kaiju number 8 was huge as well. Like, yeah. The debut on Twitter and everything like that. But it's just like, they're just force feeding me Solo Leveling. Like, here, have more. Here, have more. I'm like, all right, that's enough. Solo Leveling. They're like, you will eat more.
Okay, well, a show that technically wasn't force-fed to me, I decided to keep going. And I thought I would talk about this one because in the mid-season check-in, I said it was my hate watch of the season. and it technically was. So I'm going to talk about Anyway I'm Falling in Love with You, which is the second shoujo of the season and not the best shoujo of the season. What I will say, because a lot of people were shocked that I was still watching it, and I totally understand. I trashed it. I think the thing that made me like it, because it's literally about friendship, it's about love, and it's about adolescence. And the thing that made the show trash was the adolescence, because a lot of these teen boys are trash. But it reminded me of like a teenage soap opera, kind of like the OC and Gossip. You're like, the writing's not good, the people suck, but like you just keep wanting to watch more of it. And that's the vibe that I got. And also, it was such a simple storyline that it wasn't a show like Orb where I had to put like all my mental energy in it. It was just a simple show for me to like tune in, see the drama, judge it. And it was enough for me to like keep going, because I guess they kept switching from like forward to like flashback. So you kind of see what's going on in the future, and you're kind of curious like which boy makes it. Because there was a theory that one of the guys died from COVID because the story takes place during 2020.
Oh, that's
and, like,
right.
And we didn't see one of the guys in the future until like the very last 5 minutes of the final episode. So that's probably why the next season was announced. Was the show good? No, but there was 2 of the friends that I liked. All the other boys were trash. And only 2 of the guys actually confessed to her. The one of them took too long. I think he waited till like the 10th episode or something, but he's the one that I actually liked. Shin, the one that becomes a doctor, he's the one that I liked. He became a doctor because of her, because she lost her mother and he wanted to be a doctor to be able to prevent that. Anyways, Mizuho is the reason why. I think it's because I connected with her. I connected with a lot of female characters this season, and I connected with her a lot because she just wanted to become a mangaka. Love wasn't really in her agenda. She just wanted to become a mangaka. She wanted her friendship to be status quo. And then when things start to change, she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And which was a little annoying because she never like stopped Kizuki from like with his advances. Neither was Shin. Like, she didn't stop any of them. She just kind of kept going as if nothing happened. She was a lot like Natsuko in some ways and Zenshu, but I liked it, and I am definitely watching season 2. I know that there was a lot of hate for the fact that this got announced.
Oh, yeah.
Right away. Yeah. However, I'm going to go on my soapbox and say, how often does a shoujo get a season 2 announced right away?
Very, very rarely. I'm trying to think of the last time it happened. Yeah.
So I'm going to say, you know what? Good job, because we're getting somewhere. There's progress. Is it the right show to get a season 2 this season? No. But with the way it ended, yeah, I want to know what happens next, because I'm not going to read the manga. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's still like a 6 out of 10. So I enjoyed it. It's my high speed of 12. Like with Cat, it's like I hate
Sure.
it, but I like it. It's my high speed of 12. So yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm still gonna keep watching it. If I convinced anyone to watch it, let me know.
Cozette's like, this show sucks. Next episode. This show still sucks.
Yeah.
Next episode. I get it. I get the hate watch. I totally get it.
Yeah. So
All right, moving back to. I mean, I dropped the show, so I hated that guy for the first episode. I could not stand him. I hate characters like that. We're talking Ameku MD, Doctor Detective, aka Anime Doctor House. This is going to be very interesting because it got to a point where in episode 7 and 8, I couldn't watch the show, so I stopped at episode 6.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, when I heard about it, I'm like, nope. So like, I might just skip 7 and 8 and watch 9, 10, 11, 12 or whatever. But I wanted to hear if I could do that, unless that plays into like the storyline, or if it was more like episodic, like Doctor House was, where I can sort of just like skip an episode and I'd be fine, type of thing.
You can.
Okay, cool. Okay, because I think this show is great. Like, I was initially kind of scared when I watched the first episode. I'm like, okay, this is very house-like. It's very out of control. Like, did a dinosaur actually eat a person? And they broke it down, and then it's like, okay, that was kind of fun. And then it started getting a little bit more batshit crazy, that's what I was looking for with like, oh, there's a spirit or something like that killing somebody. It's like, no, it's actually a fungus. It's like, oh, okay. That's when I started gravitating to the show a lot. So me not finishing it has nothing to do with the quality of the show, because I think what it's trying to do is really fun. I think it's awesome that the mangaka is a doctor. Like, I watched a doctor, you know who Dr. Mike is? The YouTuber? He's like some big like YouTube guy, and he'll break down like, he did like Cells at Work, he did like House, and he'll go through like the legitimacy of like, are these actual like scenarios? And he praised how great, even though it's outlandish, it's like all feasibly possible and realistic, and at least in episode 1. Like, it was fun like watching a doctor like also try to put the pieces together, and like he guessed it correctly, which is crazy. So it's like, it's fun to see like not everything that they're telling us is like absolute bullshit, even if it might seem like it. So I gotta give props for props due. This show is so much fun, minus episode 7 and 8. Cozette, your thoughts on Ameku MD Doctor Detective?
I said this in the mid-season review, but I think for a mystery show, it's nice to see a mystery show that's actually realistic, because we've gotten a lot of mystery shows that are more fantasy-based or like kind of out there. So I really enjoyed this show, especially because I loved Sherlock, I loved House for the most part, and I loved, Grey's Anatomy and all that jazz. So I really enjoyed the show. I am behind myself. I think in the last arc, I kind of didn't lose interest. I was just like, I just want the last episode to come out for me to like see this whole mystery together. So I haven't watched the last 3 episodes. Well, I guess the next episode comes out tomorrow or something. So I haven't watched the last arc, basically. But the arc that, Pete, you didn't watch, it was really well done, but I totally understand why you didn't watch it. It was one of my favorite arcs of the season. I do like the mix of, like, the mystery was not just in the hospital, but also outside, and they're doing some, like, crime stuff with the police and everything. So I really enjoyed it. There was even one story arc with the Munchausen that I actually knew, because it's in every medical show there is. So I was like, oh, Munchausen, easy.
It's lupus.
I felt smart. I felt smart for once. And so, I really enjoyed it. I really like Ameku. I think we get to see more of her vulnerability. So I guess the one thing you won't see in the episodes you didn't watch is that we get to see more of her vulnerability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she is a bit more vulnerable. She's not just a robot. We get to see her vulnerable side, but then when we get to the next arc, it's kind of like done. She's kind of like, okay, she has another problem to deal with. I'm glad we got to see more vulnerable side to her. Will this get a season 2? I don't know, but I wouldn't mind if it did, because like it's a show that like you can just keep on going. So I enjoyed it. I think it was fun for the most part, and I'm excited to see how it actually ends.
Yeah, if I were to rate it, I would say this is probably like a high 7 for me. Like there were some episodes that I think were much better than others, but it was enjoyable throughout. So
yeah, I give it a 7. I'm with the points. I'm 7.5.
Run it.
It's not an 8 yet, so 7.5.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and then the last show that we're going to talk about is Sakamoto Days. During our mid-season review, there was an episode with the like paintball scene where I felt it was very lazy and I was kind of falling off of it. So I ended up actually dropping the show, and then I said, screw it, I might as well just finish it. So I had like 3 episodes left. So I did finish Sakamoto Days, but I was really disappointed in the show. Like I knew coming into it, all my expectations were this show was just going to be mid to average. That's what all my friends were going to say. I came into it knowing that, and it's just, I don't know. Like I think it was just with all of the, this will sound crazy, but with like all the action and all the hijinks that were going on in the show, I thought the show was boring. Like I had a really hard time having fun with any character that wasn't Sakamoto. Like the drunk girl was fine in the beginning, but I also didn't really connect with her or have fun with her later. Shin was very hit and miss for me. I liked some aspects of him, like the fight at the theme park was incredible. I love that, but then there's some other moments where I don't know. There's something about Sakamoto that I just can't vibe with, and I don't know what it is because it's not like any like it's very shonen-esque crime, like secret agent stuff that I've seen before, or like I've seen Spy Family do something like this. I've seen not just anime, but just like in TV shows as well, do something like this with like Way the House Husband or something like that has some elements like this, or GTO or something along the lines of like having some tie to criminal activity where I can at least have fun with it. I didn't have fun with Sakamoto Days. I was kind of disappointed. Cause what's your thoughts on Sakamoto Days?
Like people know where this is going. It was fun, but it wasn't for me. And honestly, I was hesitant even starting it at the beginning of the season because like I don't know. I'm weird with shonen action. I think the only thing is that it just made me want to watch John Wick again, which I totally did. It just made me want to watch John Wick again because John Wick is my shit. Like if the show was less goofy and more darker, more gritty, more, I don't know, more seinen, I think I would probably like it more.
Sure.
Like if it was just darker,
yep.
I might have liked it a bit more. I just like John Wick more, which is a totally different show and movie, but
maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think there might be a John Wick anime or something happening in the works, but I mean, I don't think I'll still like it more than the movie, but there's just something about, I think it was too goofy. The catchphrases was a bit cheesy. Like it was fine, but I'm definitely not watching season 2. I think I've had enough. I was kind of losing interest at the end. So I can see why like the shonen community do love it so much because the characters are, objectively fun. The fights are cool. I can see there's some sort of like world building going on. So I can see why like people who like Sakamoto Days would probably like solo leveling and all that jazz. So it was fine. I'm not continuing.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like one season was enough. I don't think it's like objectively bad. I think it does a lot of things really well. I think some of the animation, like people were shitting on the animation. I thought it was perfectly fine. Like it wasn't groundbreaking, but for like a property like this, I had no issues with it. The comedy was there, like in some spots, it was pretty hit and miss. But I think kind of like what you said, I think I'm either looking for John Wick or I'm looking for Spy Family. Like I feel like this might be a little bit in the middle, and that's not what I want. I want it to be one of the other side. So I give this a 5. Like I don't think it's like objectively bad, but I was bored by it.
I gave it a 7 because I still watched it till the end. I think switching the dub really helped me. I did like the dub a lot. So yeah, I gave it a 7. It was still like fun. Like I know my sister probably loves it because she's more shonen-y than I am. So, but yeah, a nice 7.
Okay. Before we wrap up, we're going to go through the shows that Cozette watched that I didn't, and then vice versa, or shows that we dropped. Whatever Cozette wants to talk about, this is her time to shine. So take it away whenever you're ready.
This one I'll talk about is one that I think I would recommend to, because a lot of people didn't watch the show, and I would recommend it because it's short, it's sweet, it wrapped up really nicely, and that is Tasokare Hotel. That's the anime that was on Prime, unfortunately, so it wasn't easily accessible for everybody. But I really enjoyed its concept of the fact that like it's a hotel living between like the living and the afterlife, and it was a mystery show, and I think that's what was really cool about it. And then as the show progressed, so like since the mid-season check-in, the story like definitely progressed. It's got slightly a bit more darker. A serial killer came into the mix, and oh my god, and the things got tied up and wrapped up so nicely at the end. It was a very pleasant surprise. Like, I feel like it would be a show that I would recommend to like even like Secret Santa later in the year. I just really enjoyed it, and it really surprised me.
If you get me, give me that show.
Okay, sweet, because it was fun. And it's not that dark where you like will get sad about it. It's just like there's just like murder and like
just murder.
Just murder and like hell and like someone opening the gates of hell. But it was really cool. I think the characters were really fun, and it really surprised me. So I think I gave it an 8. It was a lot of fun. I really liked the characters. So yeah, that's the one I would definitely recommend. The one that I wasn't sure about, and I still finished it, was Flower and Asura. I called it Audible the anime because it's literally just about voice work and broadcasting. I think I said this in the last the mid-season check-in, but I think the reason why I couldn't connect with it is because I don't speak Japanese, and a lot of the things that were said in the anime was like it's hard to understand the nuances of why they would change their tone or pitch of what they were saying. So it was really hard for me to connect with it. But it was like a typical school club anime. It was like, join the club, school festival, training camp, competition. And we didn't even get to see the competition, which pissed me off.
Ooh.
And what pissed me off at the end was that they decided to throw in some family drama in the last 2 episodes. And it just came out of nowhere. And I'm like, why? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And we didn't even get to see the final competition. So it's no sound euphonium at all. I can see why people liked it. I think the characters were a lot of fun. I just was like, I couldn't connect with it. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm sorry, Stoney. I know you really loved it.
Because I dropped it. And like, I loved everything like outside of the club. But the club, I'm just like, I can't get into this. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I like stuff like that where they are passionate about it. But I couldn't like understand it. Like, I had a really hard time with it.
I think the best bit was like when they were in the training camp, because they got to talk with other students and stuff. Like, training camp arcs are always the best, I think, in most shows. So I really enjoyed that part. But yeah, it was fine. I'll give a shout out to Beastars, but it's not done. So I'm actually not going to rate Beastars because it's just the first half of the arc. And I don't think it's fair for me to rate it right now because it ended off on such a cliffhanger that I don't feel right yet. But I really enjoyed it. And I know you're going to watch it eventually.
Damn right. I love Beastars.
Yeah, I think that the where the story went in depth about Legoshi and his family was really, really cool. There was one episode that made me cry in a good way. It was nice, though. I really enjoyed it. I don't think this arc is as good as the other, or like this season was as good as the other 2 seasons, but I think it's because it hasn't finished yet. So that's why I can't compare it yet. But I do like the addition of Yaya and Gosha, who you'll find out who they are eventually.
Okay.
But really cool. But yeah, and I like that the show was outside of the schools. We got to see more of like their world outside the school. So that was really cool. But I'm not reading it yet because I'm waiting for the second half, which I think is this summer or something. So I think I could be wrong. Are we talking about My Happy Marriage?
See, it hasn't finished. So if you want to talk about it, like, I think this season's incredible, but I still have to wait till the final episode before I rate it since it got delayed.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably like a 9 right now.
That's why I have it.
I'll just say, like, it got delayed a lot. So what I'll say is that I love the progression of Mio and Kyoka's relationship this season. I think that was so much progression compared to the first season. And then Mio, like just like Uka, just most valuable player. Like, her confidence just skyrocketed, and I was just so proud of her this season. So it's been fantastic.
She's like, you fucked up my husband, now you die.
Yeah, the recent episode, which is not 12 because it's not released yet, I think, but the recent episode that we've watched was so good.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how it ends, but I definitely think it's going to be around the 9-10
Agreed.
scale.
I think the season is. I love season 1. I think season 2 is just it stepped up.
Yeah. And that's it. I guess for dropped, I did drop Guild Receptionist.
Same.
The bit about her working overtime got a bit old. It just got old. And I just couldn't connect with the story. What I wanted was what was in the OP, which like showed her like riding a dragon and like training and stuff. That's what I wanted, and that's not what I got. So unfortunately, I dropped it. I just couldn't continue. Like, I tried to force myself to watch it. And I'm like, I'm not enjoying it. I'm just going to let it go. So I've let it go. But shout out to Rei Takahashi. She was great as a VA.
So good.
Yeah.
She
I also dropped
so much.
I also dropped Momentary Lily, and I only dropped it because I had too many shows to watch. It was the Gohan's anime. Yeah. I probably would have continued if I didn't have a lot on my watch list. So it was very Gohansy. The story was like nonsense. It didn't make any sense. I don't know. The battle scenes were kind of cool. So it was more like a flashy anime than anything. But yeah, I dropped it. I think Rifle was the only one that actually continued. So shout out to him.
Wonder why you watched that.
And one last final shout out is to Preston for Unnamed Memory, because I kind of watched it, but not really. Shout out to Preston for all the
right there.
episode summaries each week. And it just proved to show that I still hate the show and I still hate Oscar. So shout out to Preston, because I didn't get to shout him out last episode. So
shout out to Preston, even though he hates on me 24/7, but he's still my biggest fan. So I'm gonna let you pick. Should I start with the worst or the best?
I ended off with the worst, so you should end off with the best.
I'll end with the best. So yeah. So start with the worst. Okay.
Yeah, start with the worst. Yeah.
Okay, this is where I'm gonna lose half the fan base, but I'm gonna talk about the 100 Girlfriends season 2. And I was trying to articulate in my brain how, because I liked season 1. Why didn't I like season 2? And so I think I figured out the reason why. So you are familiar with the concept of a fart joke. So the punchline is something adolescent and stupid and silly and whatever. It's maybe not necessarily smart, but it's supposed to be like dumb. 100 Girlfriends is like a fart joke, but I'm gonna call it like an underwear joke or a panty joke. So the whole setup for their comedy is somehow to like put these girls into a situation where I feel like it's like really overly sexualized. So if the payoff for that over sexualized joke is funny, I think it's great and it can land. It can be like actual comedy. But I think this season fell too much into it where like it's not that funny, but at least we saw the girls' huge titties, right? It's like ha ha ha. It's like not really. So we had like an episode where they played water tag in like maid outfits. I'm like, this isn't funny at all. They had a scene or an episode where the mom's hair grew like to the size of like she was like Cthulhu and it was like taking over the world because her hair was so long, and they turned it into a tentacle porn episode. Wasn't funny. Like it's kind of lazy to me. It's like every episode it's the setup where, oh, hey, the girl who is a masochist, I bet we're going to get a joke where she's a masochist, and there it is. And it's like, there's no other part of her character that is funny. It's just, she's the masochist character. We're going to do something masochistic. Ha 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 ha. Hikari, the girl who's always horny. I bet we're going to do a joke where she's really horny. There it is. It's just like every episode, it's layered the same, where these characters are tropes and they can never expand past that character because the joke needs to be, well, they're this trope, so then the joke needs to be their trope. And I think I like season 1 because we were still developing the cast and figuring out who they were as a character, where the joke the first time was funny. Now that we're in season 2, it's the 14th time the show is telling me that Hikari is really horny. It's like, I know she is, because you've told me every episode that is what she is. And it never expands past that. So there were times in some episodes where it was funny, where I thought it was witty and it was like actually structured as a joke. It's one of those things where sometimes jokes can be, you Google 100 jokes to tell at a party and it'll be like a knock knock joke, and you can go through 100 jokes in 10 minutes. Or do you like it where you build up the joke and there's one big punchline, like a stand up, and it's like, that was great. That was hilarious. I felt like this season was more of the party joke, where it's joke, 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 joke all the time. And those jokes where Nano's quiet, Shizuka uses her phone to talk, Hikari is horny, Kurumi is always hungry, Kusuri is the mad scientist and she's going to drink a potion. It's like every joke is that. It's their character, and it's never going to go past that. And so how they supplemented is that they add a new girl. So it's like, oh, this is fresh, but it's like she's still playing her role. She's playing her character. So while it's a new character, the same structure of the joke is there, because if the new girl is trying to think, the newest girl was like Comey. So the punchline is always going to be she's shy and she always hides. It's always going to be that joke. It's never not going to be that she's not shy. So I think that's where I fell off with the comedy. So I gave it a 6. I still think that there was moments where funny. I don't think the show is bad. I just think how the jokes are structured is boring. It's formulaic. I feel like sometimes when I can see the punchlines coming, I fall off of it, because I like jokes that are structured and funny. And it's why if Preston or one of the 100 Girlfriend fans are going to hear it, we're like, well, you like Konosuba. Yeah, I do. But Konosuba is a fart joke and not a panty joke. So that's the difference. I'm an adolescent. I am a 12-year-old man, and fart jokes are funny to me. So like, whatever. Okay, moving on to other shows that I really enjoyed. The Okinawa, I fell in love with an Okinawa girl. As somebody who has been to Japan twice and would love to go a third time and visit Okinawa, I thought the show was such a breath of fresh air. Because in my ignorant mind, I just assumed Okinawa was Japan, and how this show showcased it was like, it's like a completely different country. They just happen to speak Japanese. So it was really cool to sort of like get a better understanding of what that culture is, at least that they're showcasing in a show. The girls were super fun and adorable. This was more, it's labeled a romance. It's not. He's just like, one of the dudes thinks the girl is cute. One of the girls think he's cute. There's like no romantic like progression. It's all just like slice of life having fun in Okinawa. I thought it was a great show. I gave it an 8. Ooh, this one, the big one, Ave Mujica. So I finally figured out why I'm not super high on Ave Mujica. And I think it's the character's obsession with trying to reform their band that they were in for like a month or something like that. I'm sure there's a concrete amount of time that they were in it that I'm missing. It's irrelevant to my point, where it feels like they're trying to like go back to the old days and relive their nostalgia when their nostalgia was just fine. Like every time we have like a flashback of when they were like in their olden days as Cry Chic, their old band, it was like they were just doing normal stuff. Like they were just like having practice. We got a little bit into the characters to understand their dynamics a little bit more and understand why they're doing the things that they do, which makes it a little bit more sense why they would want to do like stuff with Cry Chic, but I still like didn't get that connection. And it would just benefit everybody if you just moved on. Like bands break up all the time. Like just move on. But this season was, I mean, like the Mutsumi, the character who's sort of like broke, where she has like this split personality. I thought that was awesome. This was more about this was more of a drama where the girls happen to be in a band than a band girl show. So it was, I liked it significantly more than My Go. I thought the cast of Ave Musica had a lot more spice and a better dynamic between the group to add to the drama that I was looking for. I give this show an 8. And then the last show I'm gonna talk about blew me away. I'm still debating if I'm going to give it a 10 or not. And that's ReZero season 3. Like,
all right.
I like ReZero. I like ReZero. I think it's a perfectly fine show. No issues with ReZero. Season 3 was fucking great. It was so unlike the other seasons where I felt like they suffered. They suffer all the time in ReZero. They didn't suffer in this season. They were just whooping ass. I was like, this is such a refreshing change of pace where someone's not in eternal agony for 6 episodes. It's just like, no, we have a problem on our hand. Let's deal with it. And then they do that through the entire arc. Amelia, MVP, one of the hardest lines in anime history, where she became like the 46th wife to this evil person. And when she was getting rid of him, she says, here are the divorce papers for you or for me and your like 46 other wives. And threw an iceberg at him and then punched him in the face 50 times. That was so cold. Like Amelia was the GOAT this season. I loved it. Subaru, his speech in part 1 with the intercom system and like telling the people like to not be scared, like we're here to help, and try to like boost up the people's morale while you're in a situation, I thought was fantastic. My girl Mimi came back at the end. That's my girl. Beatrice coming the same day towards the end. That's my girl. Just great. Season 4 is announced. We don't have to wait 14 years for season 4. I'm really getting invested in ReZero. Like, say what you want. I get it. Generic isekai bullshit. I get it. I think Subaru is a great character. I think he actually has a personality. I think he has drive. I think he has remorse. I think he learns from his mistakes. Unlike some other isekai male protagonists. I'm a big fan of Subaru. He is a chivaled knight, and I respect that. And Amelia, just incredible. Speaking of Ri Takahashi, killing it as Amelia. Loved her. This is like a very high 9, possible 10. I'm gonna think on it a little bit more when I do my ratings, if this deserves a 10 or not. I think it does, but for right now, Trent, you can put in bold letters, really high 9. So
with a star.
9 with a star. And I think that's it. I think that is all for fall. We can close the books once My Happy Marriage is all said and done. Winter, what did I say? I said fall?
Fall.
Did I say fall in the intro too? Shit.
I don't remember. I bet
I said fall in the preview, and I'm going to go back and I'll be like, oh, I'm an idiot because I can't read. That's the end of the winter season. And that being said, we can now move into spring. Yay! Cozette, thank you for joining me. Do you have any last words to your adoring fan?
Go watch Honey Lemon Soda, and then go watch all the Slice of Lives in the spring season.
Yes, spring is looking great. In a few weeks, we'll be doing our first impressions. So looking forward to talking about that. But if you have made it this far and you want to support us, best way to do so, just wire me a bunch of money. Just send me all of your money. Otherwise, you can like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. Next week, speaking of shoujos, we will be reviewing Sugar Apple Fairy Tale for Watch Club. Season 1. It's officially fucking Jonas season now. So look forward to that. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, I will doing something. I think it might be first impressions. Not sure. Probably talking about the spring season in some way. So on behalf of me and on behalf of Cozette, wants to thank everyone out there. Have a great night. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Bye bye.